We must chill with the wheeze right now. Immediately.
Pauly Shore, he's promoting, he's got a podcast called Pauly Shore's Random Rants. And he's also got a bunch of gigs. Thursday through Sunday, Caroline's.
Why doesn't Pauly want to come in?
He's scared.
Why are you scared?
Don't be scared.
It's East Coast versus West Coast, bro.
He's saying it's...
You're safe here.
He's saying it's East Coast versus West Coast. This is like the old school hip hop beefs.
I mean?
Yeah.
I can't just, I could be set up. You know what I mean? You guys could have some tricks up your fucking sleeve and shit.
No, you're right.
We have nothing.
It's good.
I like the beard, bro.
Thank you very much.
It's good.
It's good to have a healthy paranoia everywhere that you go. You just never know, do you?
See, the Bell of Honor.
He's ringing it for
This is an
himself.
old school bell.
Yeah, it's a great bell. The fans love it. Yeah, it's a new feature. They've really taken to it.
Yeah, did you think that of all the radio shows you'd be doing, this would be the one that would still have a cowbell in studio for you?
I've always been a fan of the cowbell. You know what I
Really?
mean? Yeah, because it's like call to action. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It is. People respond to it. You can't ignore it.
No, it's like, hey, we're here. It's like even like if people are like you're at a deli.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You want to grab a ticket, like for hey, we're here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're always worried you're not gonna hear your number getting called.
Yeah, cowbell is
But if they do a cowbell before
Sure.
every number, you're gonna hear every number.
Yeah.
Do you use it or is it just sitting there?
I use it.
It's Jim's bell of honor that he
love
rings
it.
for the
yeah,
guests.
Yeah, I ring it sometimes. Other times just to make wake the listeners up, or just to get some attention for myself.
Right.
Sometimes if Sam's talking, I'll just interrupt like that, and everybody looks at me, and I say something.
Or if you don't have any
great.
jokes, you could just ring the bell.
It happens
Thanks
a
for
lot.
having me, guys.
Thanks for being here, Pauly
Here
Shore.
we are.
Did you just-
Are we rolling?
Yes,
We're
we
on.
are.
This is live.
Are you- now,
God
did you just?
damn it, I need a better introduction. Give me a better
A
introduction.
better
all right.
introduction?
I'm trying to take it back to old school, dude. Everything's too fucking chill now.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do a better
Pauly
introduction.
Shore, you know him from da-da-da-da-da.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right. Our guest this morning. I mean, what a great
I
guest.
think that's enough.
Hold on, I didn't get to the credits yet, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know him if you've seen Encino Man. If you had MTV from 1989 to 1994, he was a VJ. I mean, he hosted Spring Breaks. The man has fucked a lot of attractive girls. Please,
Okay.
our guest today,
Handsome guys.
and some really handsome guys, some really attractive girls.
Cuomo, dude. I called him Federale, bro.
Did you fuck Chris
I
Cuomo?
fucked Chris Cuomo.
Oh my gosh.
Now, did
Don't
you
like-
know that Fredo is an ethnic slur? I didn't know that.
I did not know that.
I know.
Chris Cuomo said
didn't
it's
know.
equivalent to the N-word.
Yeah.
That's the word. Well,
Yeah.
I liked his video. I thought that was cool. I
When
liked
he-
him snapping.
Yeah,
Me
it was
too.
fun. It's always fun to watch.
Well, but the thing is, that's who he really is,
Yeah.
which is cool.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. He's like, he's a. If you watch him host his show on CNN, he always looks like he's gonna snap.
Right, he's got that big neck with all the veins bulging
Yeah, and he's
in
got
it.
a black. I don't understand why he always wears a black jacket.
That's his look.
I
his
know,
look.
but it's not a good look. It's like that's for the Oscars.
That's true.
You know what I mean? It's like
It's not welcoming.
but that's more. It's like a funeral, the Oscars. This is not. You know what I mean? Mix it up.
It's a
I don't know
little
why he
too
does
formal.
it. I mean, maybe a pinstripe or a dark blue suit.
Yeah, he should
Even
just
a
mix
gray.
it up.
Something different.
But I like that he snapped because that's who the guy is.
Have you ever snapped in public? I mean, I'm sure you got people coming up to you all the time with some dumb shit.
Man, I don't know if I've ever snapped before. I probably have.
Has a fan ever pushed you to snap?
Some of my assistants have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
You have an assistant?
Never had one. I mean, Kenny does work for me. But he's not an assistant. He's a road manager. But no,
It's
I've never
tough.
had one.
It's tough. Assistants are assistants are really hard to come by.
How you mean good
Because-
assistants?
A good assistant.
Yeah.
What's a common thing that you'll go like, oh fuck, another bad one?
Well, most of them don't want to be there. Do you understand?
Right.
Like most assistants do not want to be there. Most assistants, they don't want to be assisting.
Right.
So you could feel the energy when
Right.
you're working with them. It's not like when you're coming up with stuff, say, hey, let's do this. You can feel like a resistance, because they're pretty much like composing emails and doing attachments and scanning and
Assisting you with your
and
day-to-day.
flights. What's worse than booking fucking flights?
It's a nightmare, and
Who
I want
books
my
your flights?
Kenny does, and he's fucking knows more about the flights than the airlines do. There's no one will
Shit,
ever
what's
be
his
better.
number?
He's the best.
I gotta use them.
Yeah, he really knows what he's doing. He's very thorough.
So like you sense a resentment, like you're
No,
asking them
not
to
a
do.
resentment,
Okay.
a resistance.
Resistant. So you don't.
Yeah, it's almost like, being fucked in the ass.
Sure.
Most people don't like that.
Yeah, but it
Right.
does grow on you.
You can learn to accept anything, right?
But you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like, It's not. But
why do they sign up if they're not?
There needs to be a website called "I really want to be an assistant," because it's not a job. It's not a job that most people,
So why are they signing up? Where are you finding these people? Why are they signing up to be your assistant if they don't even want to do it to start with? Or are you too demanding?
I think it's a combo.
How long does it usually take you to realize this is a mistake?
Or how long does it take them to realize that it's a mistake?
Well, no, the thing is, it's like with me, it's like I am a certain way, and everyone thinks that I'm a certain way, but then when you start working with me, I'm not that way.
They think you're flaky or flighty, and they're like, no, this is business, and you have a schedule.
Yeah, I'm like really like organized and anal and all my shit.
You know what you want.
Yeah, all my stuff. But I think like, I mean, you've heard of the old school like assistants for like old Hollywood, like they've been there for years,
Yeah,
and they're cool with it. Those are the type of people that are cool with it. But because, I mean, I was even talking to, I don't want to mention names, but someone who's very prestigious in the music business.
Jeffrey Epstein?
No, I was thinking of R. Kelly.
Oh.
And he was just telling me how hard it is to get employers these days to do things.
Employers?
People that work under because employees, yeah, because people are so like all over the place.
Are you good at firing somebody?
I think it's almost like breaking up with a chick. It's building,
right?
And then I it's like, have you ever been with a chick that you've been with for a while, and then you know that you're not supposed to be with them, and then you're like going, fuck, how am I going to do this? So it just kind of builds,
and eventually
they feel it too.
Yeah.
The assistant feels it too. But
a couple of, years ago, one of your, I guess it was an intern or an ex-assistant or whoever they were, wrote this like article for Vice talking about how much it sucked working for Pauly Shore, and I'm like reading the article, and I'm going like, it's just. There's nothing. It's supposed to be this tell-all piece, and it's just regular work that you would think an assistant would do.
I think that guy was mad because I had him carry my merch bag up the stairs to the Comedy Store.
But
because my office is on the third floor.
Is that his job?
He's an assistant.
No, it's just one of his things. Yeah. It was just like, I can't carry it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a big merch bag. I mean, you go on the road, you got to give the merch out, sell the merch, whatever.
But why do you have a person, and then you carry your own shit, and you're paying the person, like the person you're paying can carry the shit.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. I think it's just about paying your dues. I think a lot of kids don't want to do that. I mean, if you look at it now, the society, everyone's on the birds. Everyone's got their office set up at fucking Starbucks. People are Airbnb and Ubering and shit. So everyone's kind of finding a way to survive without actually fucking having a job.
Right. Because day to day you can get by.
Yeah, a bird, those fucking little scooters, it costs nothing to get around, so you don't need a fucking car.
No license,
right.
You don't need a car. And then, if you want to set up your computer, you can work at Starbucks for free. You don't have an office.
Right.
And then, if you need to go somewhere, you can go Airbnb, or if you need to Airbnb, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I would never do Airbnb. I might have done it once. It scares me because people. I don't want to be in somebody's fucking space. A hotel I like better, even though it's.
I'm the same way, but people love Airbnb, especially people that travel a lot. Some people love staying in other people's houses instead of hotels. I don't.
Would you ever let them be? I would never let people stay in my fucking house.
No.
Look at my shit.
No. I've Airbnb before. I don't mind it. Like when I played the Hyenas, Hyenas.
Where's that?
It's a great room in Texas.
Oh, I never did it.
Oh, dude, you got to do it.
What part
Randy
of Texas?
Butler, have him book you there. It's great. It's basically Plano, it's Dallas, and it's Fort Worth. He's got 3 rooms, and they're awesome.
Oh, okay.
And
I've heard of it.
Yeah, you play like a Friday you do Plano. Saturday do Fort Worth, Sunday or whatever, it's Dallas, but you stay in one hotel and you just kind of half-hour drives.
Oh, okay.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I would kind of like that.
It's great, but it's great. He's great. You do great out there.
So what's what's your process then? Do you change up your process for how you hire these people if the turnover is so quick or
No, I'm just at a place right now where I don't need an assistant.
Right, you just do it yourself.
No, I have people that temp that kind of come in that have been with me for a long time. I got a kid named Yusef. I got my friend Eric. I got my friend Michael. Everyone's got other gigs, so I'll like book them way in advance. And a lot of these guys, this guy Yusef, he's a friend of mine and also my assistant. He also, drives around weed, or he's a weed person delivery guy.
Yeah.
So he does that in the day. Then at night he'll come in and we'll bang out some emails and organize. So,
But he doesn't resent the work.
he does after 2-3 hours.
Okay. Well, do you have to
Because
do,
it's hard, dude.
do you have to do certain hours? Like, because like Lady Gaga's assistant sued her because she's like, oh, she wanted me to work all these hours with no overtime. It's like, how do you establish an assistant's hours?
I know.
If you wake up in a weird hour and you got thoughts at one night, write this email. Like,
Yeah.
what are the
Like,
hours?
that's the point, right? Of having an assistant is so that you have these thoughts and you're like, yeah, I can call. I'm going to hire this person.
I think the way I have it organized now is the best, which is you just do an hourly thing and you have like 3 or 4 different assistants. And they're all good at different things.
Okay.
And I also have a social media girl, Beth Hoops, out of St. Louis that I met actually when I did the St. Louis Funny Bone. Have you ever played that room?
No.
Oh my God, another great room.
Is it?
It's the oldest Funny Bone in America. And it's a great room. So I met her. She was doing the social media for the club, and then she does it for a couple comics. I'm like, fuck, this chick's awesome. And then I got together with her, and she just does my social from St. Louis.
But does she see? I have somebody who looks at certain analytics and tells me good times, but I would never I don't like anybody tweeting for me or doing any of
No,
that
it's
stuff.
not that. It's mostly like photos and videos. She posts that. And then like flyers for clubs.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like the ads and the multimedia stuff.
Yeah, she's good at that. And she's into it. She's excited. So I have a pretty good team now, yeah.
Do you obsess over ticket counts when you're on the road?
Well, it's kind of like one of those things. Like if the club's not telling you anything, then you're not sold out yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? So then it's kind of like an underlying, thing. If you're sold out, they tell you.
What's worse than when you walk in through the kitchen and the first show's about to start or whatever, you have 10 minutes and you can hear like the little random chatter and it's not the chatter of a full room.
Oh, like
It's
you can
the
hear individual conversations?
Dude, it's a smattering of people, or it's half full and you're like, oh, you can just hear it. You don't want to look.
The thing is with me, like, I don't mind performing in front of half full rooms or rooms that are not sold out. Because that's just God saying it's not sold out. It's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, there'll be another sold out show and there won't be a sold. It's like,
It doesn't hurt your ego,
I
though.
don't know.
Yeah.
I just like to go on stage.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck it. Obviously, you want sold out shows, but it's also as a performer, I think, as you know, I think it's good performing not in front of sold out shows.
Sometimes,
'cause you can fuck around more.
Yeah, you have a little more freedom, but I do that kind of stuff at the Cellar, and I don't. It doesn't have to be sold out, but when it's shit. Like once in a while you do one, it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
this is a disaster.
Yeah, and you're like, what I've been working all these years for what?
I know.
For what? Do you ever think that big when you see a room like that, or do you not really worry too much?
About what?
Like, the way Jim goes, like, I've been doing this all these years, and still, this is what the room looks like. Or do you just go, this is tonight. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
As long as there's other shows that are doing well that weekend.
Yeah, I see.
You know what I mean? Because everyone knows a Friday second show's the worst.
Yep.
And everyone knows like a Sunday show's okay.
And a Saturday show, first show, sells out.
Yeah, sells out. So it's like, whatever. We're still making money doing what we love.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like at the end of the day, your check's not as big.
Mm-hmm.
But fuck it, you get to make people laugh.
I mean,
You
I
know
love
what
the
mean?
artistic
and
part
at
of
the
it.
end
Yeah.
of the day, that's what it's about. It's like, you go up there and it's just, people are there to see you, and it's like, what's better than that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you have you always been like that, or was there a period of time after movies when you were like, I got to transition
No,
into...
after my parents died. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Your mom died this year, right?
Yeah, my mom and dad died, and all that. My sister died. I had all this. Like, I just when you have parents that die and you're by yourself, you just go, fuck, we're all not here forever. Period.
I got
And then you all, obviously people are listening, and you guys, I don't know you personally too well, obviously, but I assume you have relatives and aunts and uncles and cousins and people that have died.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? It's
Yeah.
fucked up. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And it makes you just kind of like look at life, go, fuck. Like for me, like, I just kind of say at the end of every day, I'm almost like, God gave me another day, because think about how many people die of cancer.
Oh my
Fuck,
God,
dude.
yeah.
And that you don't know, like people like my friend Gary died of brain cancer. You know Gary? Fucking Gary Garfinkel.
I don't think I know him.
Showtime. Didn't you do stuff at Showtime?
No.
Never?
No.
Oh.
Never Showtime.
Well, he was a friend that worked there, and he got brain cancer. My point is that the older you get, I think the more you realize, like, shit, we're not here forever.
Yeah, it fucked me up the other day. I was like, we've been waiting on a bill from an electrician that did work in our house. And my dad called, and I'm like, that bill, you don't have to worry about that bill. I was
Oh
like,
my
why
God,
not?
He died.
He's like, because he got colon cancer and died. I'm like, what the What the fuck?
Well, you know
and
what?
the bill is just, all right.
Yeah, you probably have to still pay his family.
Well, I don't think the bill's going to be coming. He's,
Yeah,
he's an old school guy. He just had it down in a notebook.
How much
or
was
something.
it?
I don't know. I didn't get the bill.
Oh, okay.
Well,
All right, so silver lining.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is sometimes it's good news.
Yeah, so, yeah. The
but I
complaints.
don't know. I think, I'm 51 now, so it's like, I got 30 more years left here.
Is that what you're counting on?
I mean, if I'm lucky. I mean,
Right.
if you make it to 80, you
I
win.
want to make it past then. I'm 51 too. I want to make it past.
How much time? Well, with your fucking
I don't
social
sleep well.
behavior?
I don't sleep well, but I eat okay. I don't drink. I don't do
Do you
drugs.
go exercise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's important.
Have you always been because you've always been an in-shape guy.
Yeah.
Have you always had like
I've always
exercise,
yes,
eat right?
Yes.
But you used to party a lot, right? Do you still party?
I never really partied that hard.
Really?
No, it was not. Not like I always had that saying, it's okay to dance with the devil, don't become the devil.
I see.
Meaning, because I grew up around all these comedians that were getting fucked up, and I always kind of knew, like, oh shit, those guys are at another level.
I guess it
Like,
goes
I
one way or
saw-
the other. Like you were with Kinnison, like really early on.
Yes, and he was fucking partying a lot.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I'm a Jewish kid from Beverly Hills.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's like not saying that like that. I mean, I'm a little neurotic. You know what I mean? Like I'm not the guy from a small town that like all of a sudden made it and like, oh, drugs.
Right.
I saw it my whole life. Even growing up when I was a kid, like my brother was best friends with Griffin O'Neill, Ryan O'Neill's son, and Farrah Fawcett, and all that like. Back, Donovan Leach and Mike Messick, and we used to go to this club called the Odyssey, and all these people. This was early Hollywood. Like, kids were fucking getting fucked up. It was like Less Than Zero.
What did you
mean,
say?
That's
Yes,
how it
yeah.
was. I don't know if you guys remember that movie.
Sure, Julian gives good head and is dead. That was what they wrote on the wall of fucking Robert Downey Jr.
You do remember that movie?
Yeah, I do.
It's a great movie.
James Spader was
Yeah.
great in that. Who's the guy? The lead, Andrew. He played. His name was Andrew in the movie. I forget the name. of the lead.
yeah,
Andrew McCarthy.
Andrew McCarthy.
Yeah, that was a great film.
But
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that's how it was back then. You know what I mean? And I had a lot of friends die of coke. I had my friend Brent Weinberger flipped a Jeep because he was on Quaaludes and died.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
I had-
early on, you figure out that this leads to bad places quickly.
Yeah. And also the fact is, I'm fortunate, knock on wood, I don't have that I'm not a drug addict, meaning like, or an alcoholic. Like if I go out, at the most I'll have is 3 drinks.
Even at your peak, though, because I mean,
When people were buying them for you.
Yeah.
because
Maybe.
people wanted to party. I mean, I'm sure people still do, but when the weasel was the weasel and you were everywhere.
That's not how we say it around here, bro.
What do you mean?
Weasel.
Oh, I forgot.
Sorry. No, it's
No,
cool.
you're right.
It's
But when that was everywhere, right? And when
Yeah.
you're in every movie, when you're in every TV show, I'm sure everywhere you went, people want to party with you.
I didn't stay out until the sun went up. Is your question? Is your answer? Like
I see.
I did a couple times, but it wasn't like a thing.
You have to be disciplined then,
I don't know.
or just not your style.
Well, when you grow
No,
up with
I
it too,
just-
it's probably a little different too because it's not new.
I see.
There's no adjustment to this being new. If that's your whole life, you'll say, "Yeah, I see comics, they do coke, and this is what it is." You just,
Yeah.
it's what you see.
Yeah.
I've asked you about.
I liked it. I liked it. There was definitely some times where I went crazy,
Yeah,
but it wasn't several times.
I see. So tonight's the crazy night, and then
It just happened. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I mean, Sam, when we did, what was it? It was the Aladdin Hotel. It was me, Sam, and Tommy Chong, and it was New Year's Eve, and that was like a night I remember.
What year? Do you remember?
It was the night. It was the year before he passed.
Oh, it's like 1990.
No, it was like 91, or he died in 92, right? Yeah, I think. It was
I don't remember 91, 92.
92, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it was around there, but that was like, I was with the porn star, and it was like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
It was
it's
cool.
wild.
Yeah, that's a fun time.
It was cool, yeah. It was fun, yeah. We had a good time. Yeah.
I don't know if I've asked you about your prior before. I think I have, but I mean, I never knew him. I met him once, so I
Wow.
never had any kind of relationship with him. But you knew him pretty well.
Yes. Yeah, I knew him very well, yeah.
And
yeah.
yeah, but there's a couple of versions of him. There's the version that you see, like you ever see the interview he did where he's really fucked up? It's in Arizona.
Yes, of course.
And he's like drunk and he's high and he's
Yeah.
being funny and he likes the guy he's talking to, but you can see he was a difficult guy at times.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that the version of him you usually saw?
I never saw that version.
You didn't?
Ever.
Well,
I always saw the really quiet, sweet version.
You did.
Because every time he came to the store, he was always very quiet and sweet and nice and polite because he was, there to develop his stuff. So he would come in and kiss people's hands and shake and, and sit down and I would give him like a Cavassier and my mom would sit next to him and the manager of the club would be like, he was this Thai guy, Ted, it was either Ted or Kirk, and he would keep people away, and then I would ask him, when do you want to go on? But it was soft.
You saw the quieter version, before you would go on stage.
Yeah.
When you blew up, were other comics shitty to you, or did they like you because they knew you from the time you were young?
I think that's a good question. It's kind of a combo, I think. I had this thing with Chris Rock where me and him, when we first met in late 80s, or late 80s, like when I used to come out here to do stand-up, I would perform at Catch, and that was Sandler and Seinfeld and who else? I don't know. They were all there. And me and Chris bonded because... And then when he came out to L.A., we bonded too at the store because he was Eddie Murphy's boy. And everyone was like, oh, he's only because he's Eddie Murphy's boy.
Right.
And then for me, it was all like, oh, he's only because he's Mitzi's kid.
Right.
And that was like this thing that we had.
You both had like something attached to why you were doing well in people's eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, what are you going to do? It's like, but I think, thank God I cut through it and I starred in all these movies, and people in middle America, they don't know who my mom is. They don't know who the Comedy Store is.
Totally.
They just know you from MTV and the films.
Yeah, they know me, my comedy, my MTV podcasts, whatever, doing things like that.
Do you still do stuff too? I know at one point you were doing stuff like slides on stage. You were kind of walking through family. I didn't see it, but I just remember thinking it was an interesting idea to kind of, do a show, like a one-man show built around.
Yeah, I was, a long time ago, I did that. I forgot what part of my act that was, but yeah, we used to do a slideshow. But yeah, I'm going to start working on, all that stuff now. I'm going to put together a book, one-man show, documentary, all that stuff.
Were you with your mom at the end? You were with her. I think that's good.
Yeah, for 15 years.
It's kind of easier, not easier, but I'm sure it helps if you know somebody is not well, because at least you get to
be there
and do what you have to do. Yeah, as opposed to
was
get your last moments.
Which was interesting. You learn a lot on hospice. Have you ever experienced putting anyone down on hospice?
No.
It's fucking wild.
I'll bet.
Oh my God, dude. It's a whole other fucking world.
Well, do you have to suggest it?
Hospice is crazy.
Why is that?
Well, first of all, the person's going to pass.
Right.
They're not going to get better.
This is your last stop.
This is your last stop.
Yeah.
Do they know it too? Like when you're bringing someone there, do you tell her that, or does she go, look, I know what this is, or is there still like you kind of keep it upbeat?
I think people aren't stupid. Even my dad, he was on hospice, and my mom was on hospice. I think that I mean, especially when people are leaning over you, crying, and basically saying like, hey, I love you, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they're stopping by for their last visit.
Dude, it was fucking crazy, dude. It was my sister died this last year, and I had to say my goodbyes in a Hooters parking lot.
Why?
Because I was on the road.
You on the phone?
Yeah, I was on the phone, and I was with Sandy Danto. Sandy, he's a comedian. We were at Hooters. We were having lunch in, I don't know, some small town. And then the doctor calls and says, it's time. I'm like, fuck.
Wait, so you knew she was sick. It was not sudden.
Yeah.
Okay.
She had been sick. And I didn't know it was going to be that. You know what I mean? So they call me, and then I'm pretty much like crying in a Hooters parking lot saying goodbye to my sister. Sandy, it's okay.
Had you finished your lunch, or did you have to excuse yourself from lunch, go into the parking lot, and then come back and finish?
Yeah.
You had to go back and finish after?
Yeah.
That's tough. That's tough.
It was fucked up. But
still delightfully tacky inside.
How long did you talk for?
Like 5 minutes.
What do you say at the end? Like you say, like how do you
Well,
wrap?
you just kind of open up your heart and you just say, hey, it's hard to remember because I was like in the moment.
Yeah.
You didn't have any sauce in your beer, did you?
No, I didn't have a beer back then.
Oh, okay.
No, it was just basically saying like, hey, everything's fine. You're gonna be okay. I love you so much, and fuck, I don't know what else to say.
Could she talk, or was she just listening?
No, but just listening. But my point that I was gonna say is the last thing that goes with people, and I didn't know this, is fucking hearing. Like even if a person is like that, they could still hear. So if you have anything to say, they hear it.
Just say, wow.
Because but my point is, that's what I heard about the hospice.
That's
when I talked to the hospice nurse, because, you don't know. You ask 50,000 questions. When's it going to happen? I mean, if you ask me anything about that, I could talk for hours about just how the whole thing goes down. It's so wild.
Isn't that what they said about Patrice when he was in the hospital, that you have to be careful what you say in the room?
There was a sign on the door. We went in. Matt and I went to see him.
This was after his stroke.
Yeah. And there was a sign that said, Mr. O'Neill may be able to hear you.
Yeah.
They weren't sure because it was a stroke and he couldn't do anything. But yeah, he
can't react, but he can maybe still hear.
People have come out of comas and said, I heard everything for 15 years.
Exactly.
Which is a lot of shit talking, I'm sure.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
I mean, that's the thing. So anyone listening, like if you're putting anyone down, any of your family members, like be respectful in the room and don't argue. Don't,
they can hear it.
They hear everything. So
was your mom coherent when you went in? Like, did she kind of know, or was she was she able to communicate with you?
There was no communication, but you can still feel that she was feeling it. I mean, she's your mom, she's your mom. So, I mean, what she feels.
Mm-hmm.
And, so that's, the last thing to go. And another thing that's very interesting, and then I didn't know this, is that you can go like 15 days with no food or water. Because pretty much what happens is when you're dying, like like my mom's throat started to, kind of, tighten up, you can't eat. And if you can't eat, you can't live. And if you can't drink water, you can't live. So what happens is the reason why, she could live so many days without food or water is because your body starts eating your body. So the protein and the fat start feeding off of each other. That's why you see people like in the Jewish kind of, what was it, the Holocaust, where the people don't eat for so long and it's just their body's eating their body. So it's feeding itself. I didn't know that.
No, I had no idea.
Isn't that wild?
It's crazy.
Yeah, I heard only a few days without water. Food.
No, you can go, but you're literally lying there. You can't like live with all that and walk around.
Right, I mean, you can't like expend any energy.
No, you're just lying there. And my dad too. My dad. You just stop eating and drinking, and then and then obviously I'm freaking out, going because I think it's torture.
Yeah,
I'm like, where the fuck is the morphine? This isn't fucking cool.
Yeah.
But they're like, and then they say, no, they're okay. They're okay. And I'm like, really? They don't seem okay. And
do they know that they're okay?
That's what they say.
Yeah. How do they know?
And then also my mom, I said to my mom, how do you know it's enough? And then they said, when she starts tearing, that's when she's in pain. When she starts tearing, and that's when you give just a little bit of morphine. You know what I mean? It's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, you want to get to that point.
Yeah.
If I were you guys, I'd get someone that does hospice on
We
this
know a
fucking
doctor.
show.
We have a doctor friend.
Steve.
Yeah.
But does he know hospice?
Oh, he works in hospice.
That's where he works. That's what he does.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's fucking because I think educating people, because everyday people need to really know what they're fucking getting into.
Right.
Because it's fucking scary, dude.
And I'd imagine like psychologically,
everything,
just processing.
Everything is fucking gnarly.
Would you walk in and see people that like, oh, that bed is empty and she was here yesterday? Would you walk in?
No, she was in the house. Both my parents died in their homes.
Okay.
In their homes.
But under hospice care.
Under hospice care.
Yeah.
But it's just fucked up, dude.
Yeah, man. It seems like it. What do you think is better, having experienced it? Do you think that if it just goes like that and you weren't prepared for it and the person's just gone, or do you think having this kind of slow, drawn-out process?
I think what you just said, the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you had unresolved stuff, like something you needed to fix that you could have fixed and you didn't, then it's like, then you get the regret.
But it's
that's true. But you can fix it in 10 minutes, and then you still got all this hospice care to deal with.
Yeah.
It just it always seems like, I mean,
the business of hospice and death and funerals is a crazy business. It's just
and then the funeral
expensive.
business.
And then also another thing is, the guy that came to pick up my mom in the stretcher, and all that stuff. That guy's just like fucking punching in, punching out. It's like not a big deal.
Yeah. It's his gig.
Yeah, it's like he's like the first thing he says without being like, sorry for your loss. Anyways, where is she? I gotta go. I got a fucking date at fucking 8:00.
Yeah, this isn't my only pickup today.
Yeah.
It's and you're going like, I don't know if you guys know, my life is shattered right now. This is everything.
Yeah, it was fucked, dude.
And they come in, they take her out on a stretcher, and
you wrap it.
Yeah.
You wrap, and then they do a stretcher and they put it in, and you shut the door, and it fucking goes to the funeral. the funeral parlor, and then eventually the next 2 or 3 days you go there, and if you want to view the body.
Were you in the room when she died, or were you in the house, or did you come over after?
No, it was basically I knew she was gonna die because it'd been like 14 days that she hadn't eaten, and it was the night before. You know, we had Chinese food, not obviously me and my mom, but my mom's caregiver, my brother, and I kind of knew, you know what I mean. So then I woke up to like text messages from, I guess it was TMZ. Because they fucking knew before I fucking knew.
I mean, they get paid by these guys who pick bodies up and stuff like that. Were people that you call, there's some of them probably get money from TMZ.
Yeah. So that was
right
kind of whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, I knew when she died, I knew it was going to be a big deal.
Of course.
Because of her past and what she had done. So
Yeah.
I wasn't really surprised. But it was heavy to see all the outpour. And, you know, I got like flowers from Dr. Dre. Like he sent me like him and his wife sent me like a whole thing.
Wow.
So it was just like, you know, random. Quincy Jones sent me stuff and just
like you know it's going to be a big deal, but the amount
amount
of people and who they were.
My mom was really, you know, I mean, because of what my mom did and
Yeah.
how she treated comedians, and you know, back in, you know, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, she was, you know, the den mother, and she cared,
Mhm.
you know, and the comics knew she cared. You know, that's why, you know, these guys were homeless, pretty much. You know, they were all fucking homeless.
Mhm.
And she took them, you know, and she took care of them.
Was that with the location it's at now? Is that the original location or of the store or no?
Yeah.
It was never anywhere before that.
No, it was the original room, which was just a small room. And then it started to do well. And then they knocked the wall down. She bought the other part of the building, which used to be Ciro's. And then she took over the belly room upstairs. So then she took the whole thing over. Yeah.
And then it became, and I mean, the Comedy Store now, it's still like the club in LA.
Yeah, I mean, there's always activity in front of it
Yeah.
and behind it. There's
It's the
always
comics
people.
spot. Well, how do you feel about the Showtime show that they're doing or that they did?
Everyone asked me about that.
Because it's like loosely based
it's kind
on.
of like, you know, it's kind of sensitive, the whole thing, the way it went down. I thought the way Jim Carrey kind of organized it, I don't think was cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He didn't ask us, hey, you
Like he
guys,
kinda
is
went
it
around
cool
you
if we
guys.
do this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Is he using the name of the club?
No.
Like
So he legally went around it. You know what I mean?
It's clearly that story,
Sure.
and there's a character that's just like
But
your
whatever,
mom. And
dude. It's like, you know, who cares? You know, it's like
Yeah.
people are like, you know, the 10 documentaries on the Rolling Stones.
Mhm.
And it's like people are like, oh, well, that Mick Jagger, oh, that wasn't that. It's like, who cares?
Right.
It's like if Jim wanted to do it, let him do it. Like, fuck it.
Would you have been involved if they asked you?
If it was about the Comedy Store and it was more specific, but I'll do my own show about it. I you know, in my own documentary, my own book, my own thing about it, because it's through my eyes. I'm the one that saw it all.
And that's
These
one of
guys
those-
didn't fucking see it.
Right.
You know
And
what I mean?
and it's also one of those things that people are never going to get tired of those stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there's
You
just
can
so many.
do 10 stories on the Comedy Store from different angles.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, who cares?
Have you written
Yeah.
a book about it already or no?
No, I'm in the process of doing it right now. So
How's
yeah.
Paul Mooney? I haven't seen or heard from him in a few
Well,
years.
I talked to Greg over at Caroline's, and he says that, you know, and I've, you know, reached out through different people. I don't think he's doing too well. I don't know where he's at.
Oh, okay.
Is he in Oakland or
I don't know.
something?
I honestly don't know. I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
How about Brian Holtzman was always a really funny guy that would go on at the Comedy Store and kind of close the shows.
Yeah.
I don't think people here in New York really know him, but he's
Yeah, I know
pretty
the
He's
name.
pretty legendary in
Yeah.
LA. Is he
Yeah.
still working there?
Yeah, yeah.
He is.
Yeah, he's our friend.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
really
he's
really
cool.
fucking funny guy.
Yeah, he's really funny.
I did press this week though. I was in Columbus, and the guy it was like 7 a.m. We're doing radio.
Oh, God.
And I like that. Do you not like that gig? I like that gig.
No, I love Columbus, but I hate doing press. I mean,
It's
this
the
is
worst.
different. It's New York.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
This isn't, you know, this is more.
yeah, and we know
This
each other.
is-
It's weird when you go in someplace you don't know the person, or you met them once, and yeah,
Hey, didn't I call you to do my movie?
you did, but I couldn't
Because I
because you-
always call him because I want to work with him. I've never worked with him before, and I think it would be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the shoot dates.
Why don't you call Pauly back?
we
No,
did talk.
He called me back.
Oh.
We
Okay.
talked, but the shoot
What
dates
was
weren't
it?
about.
What was-
I don't remember.
It was Guest House, yeah.
But you needed a bunch of dates, and there was like a good amount of them I wasn't available.
Yeah.
And I said, "Do you need just a couple?" And I think you said you needed it straight through.
Yeah.
And there was just the dates didn't work.
No, you would have been funny. It was I did a movie called Guest House where I played this guy that won't leave out of a guest house, and I got all these comedians in it, and Eric Griffin's in it, Bobby Lee's in it,
Oh, I would love to do it.
and you know, a lot of great comics were in it, and I always want to work with him because I think we'd be funny on camera. You know
Yeah,
what
I think it'd be great.
It'd be funny.
Yeah, I would love to do it, man. So if anything else comes up, please.
Hey, when you started gaining a reputation for all the beautiful women that you were bedding on a fairly regular
Are you Jewish,
basis.
by the way?
I'm not Jewish.
Oh, wow.
No, it's Harris.
Yeah, people.
What's your story? Because you're pretty cool. What's your story?
I do this.
You do this?
Yeah, I do radio.
Were you here with the Opie and Anthony?
I
too?
was.
He was.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
an intern who usurped the boss into the seat.
I usurped? What does that mean?
Usurped.
Usurped it. I dethroned.
Yeah.
Oh, you dethroned the boss.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Through trickery.
I remember those guys.
Yeah, and backstage shenanigans.
That's right.
You guys are still friendly, or
We don't. Opie and I don't talk, but Anthony and I talk. Twice a week.
am I allowed to say hi to him? Is he cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, Anthony, what's up? It's Pauly Shore. Let me do your podcast in your house.
No, he has a studio here now. He does it in the afternoon.
Do
Yeah.
your studio in your house.
I just want
Right?
to come over your house.
Oh, well, no, I can hang out with him. He's cool.
He's really
nice
funny.
guy. And what about Opie?
He's doing his own thing. He's doing a podcast.
Yo, I'll do your podcast in your house, wherever it is.
You're
You know
trying to
what
do
I mean? I'll do
podcasts
it
at
all.
people's
I don't
houses.
care.
Yeah.
You'll just show up at the house and do it. You don't care.
Yeah.
Good for
I
you.
hang out.
Good for
Okay,
you.
Sorry.
Right. So you're starting to develop a reputation for having many different girlfriends.
Right.
You know what I mean? At the same time, you're doing comedies that are pitched as really family comedies. They're not adult comedies. Was that ever a thing that people would come to you and say, "Hey, you got to start fucking all these girls because people are finding out and it's hurting box office"?
That's a good question.
Does anyone not go see a movie because the guy fucks a lot of girls? I don't think that's
Well,
ever a deterrent.
A family, I'm saying. If you're doing a family comedy and you're like, "Oh, that's the guy who like fucks in the grotto at the Playboy Mansion all the time," I keep hearing
Well,
about
I
him.
don't, first of all.
But
Have
maybe
you been
you
there?
did.
No, not in the grotto.
Okay, I don't know. I wasn't there.
No, we used to have fun up there. That's what it was.
We went. No, you weren't with me
I've
that
never
time.
been to the Playboy Mansion.
I went with Big A, but we went and I saw the game room. It was like a publicity
Yeah.
party thing.
Yeah.
But there's like sex rooms
Yeah.
in the arcade
Yeah.
room. Did you have
It
sex
was-
in the arcade room?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, when you go to the Playboy Mansion and you want to approach, there's girls all over. I mean, do you just approach like any other girl, or do they approach you?
They approached me mostly, I mean, the thing is, it's like, let's cut to the chase.
Mm-hmm.
The Playboy Mansion was a place for women to meet celebrities.
Right.
I mean, Hefner, all of his friends were celebrities, and that's kind of what it was. So he invited me up there many years ago, and I was kind of like one of his friends,
Mm-hmm.
and so I would be up there, and and I would just meet girls. They would just, there was 2 parties a year. There was the Midsummer's party, and then there was like the Halloween party.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the 2 big parties. And basically women would come from all over America
Mm-hmm.
and they would go to LA for that weekend, and they'd go up there and they'd meet celebrities and
Have sex
There's-
with them.
sometimes not.
if they wanted
Sometimes
to.
I don't know.
Was it weird though if you were talking to a girl who was hot and you liked her, and then a bigger celebrity came over and was
Yeah.
interested? That must have happened.
That's a
yeah,
bummer.
Yeah, like Bill Maher. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, I'm sure Bill Maher fucking tore that place up.
So
No,
what's
but it was just, it's almost, you know what it is? I kind of, the word, there's not a word called equivalate. Is there a word called?
you could say
Equivalent?
equate.
Equivalent.
Equivalent.
It's like Vegas. You know how you go to
Yeah.
Vegas and like people's ambitions are like down? They're down. I think I just had a booger.
They're inhibitions.
Inhibitions.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're kind of like down, like, oh, it's Vegas. It happens in Vegas. Stays.
Yeah,
it's
we
the
could-
same thing.
I see.
It's the same exact kind of mentality. It's the Playboy Mansion.
It doesn't count here.
Exactly.
Would people have to check their phones though once phones became a thing with cameras?
I think it all started kinda. I mean, it was like he didn't want pictures taken, because he had his own photographer.
Right.
His own photographer. But
So how did it work? I mean, and I'm only asking because I remember the room so well. It's like this small little house
are you
thing.
talking the game room?
The game room,
Yeah.
and it's got like all these great video games in it, right? Like arcade games, like
Mm-hmm.
old school. And it's like, oh, that's so cool. You can come in here and play all the video games you want. But then there was like 2 rooms
Yes.
that you would open the door,
Yes.
and the whole floor is a mattress.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And it's covered
And
in carpet.
Yeah, and like velvet.
Yeah.
And then there's like mirrors and stuff around, and I'm like, oh my god, there's like sex rooms in the
Yeah.
game room.
Yeah.
You think there's a lot of loads dropped in that room?
So many, including
what-
Pauly's.
But
I
here's
think.
what I think.
Yeah.
Here's what I think. So Hugh Hefner died, and before he died, he put all his tapes. There was all the tapes in the ocean.
Yeah.
Right, because he would record a lot of stuff,
Yeah,
right?
is your guy? Can you look at that online?
Yeah.
Check.
Troy Kent over there.
I remember that
Check
story.
out. Remember?
Yeah, I remember that story. They say he somebody he knew who he trusted took it out to the ocean and dropped it.
Do you think he was
Hilarious.
filming everybody or just himself?
I think everybody.
But they knew they were being filmed or no?
There it is. Look at Hugh Hefner dumps casket of sex tapes into the sea. Hilarious.
So you think that maybe he had cameras set up in all these little rooms?
Well, he did that for several reasons. Because of shenanigans. What if something bad happened?
That's true. Somebody, somebody
it's like
says
going
they were
to a hotel. If you go to a nice hotel, there's cameras everywhere. Well, his house is a house that's open to the public. Why wouldn't he have cameras?
That's true, and things go wrong at one of those.
Anything could go wrong. So at the end of the day, I think that was very classy of him.
Yeah, that he was
quite honest.
recording it, and then he got rid of everything. It's not even like after I die, it's all yours. It's no, after I die, it dies with me.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really classy because I assume there probably would have been what? Some wee sex tapes.
A lot of weird
stuff. It kind of makes me want to
to
invest in scuba diving gear.
Yeah.
I want to go down and get them.
Stuff with him, other people. Yeah, I mean, just the amount.
It was private. It was a private thing. But again, I think the main reason why he probably had that was in case something bad happened.
Yeah. In case anybody said something happened that didn't happen.
Yeah.
He might have some proof. I wonder how much of that was other people and how much of those tapes were just him. Maybe most of them were just him. Camera set up, fucking.
Maybe.
Where do you keep them in the house, though, so no one can get to them? Like, you must be...
He probably had a whole wing. I mean, first of all, like, when I went there for that party, nobody was allowed in the house by that point. So, like, I think that there were definitely parts of that house that people did not have access to.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
His bedroom, I'm sure.
His bedroom,
yeah.
Even on his big parties, the house was open, but you can go up to his bedroom.
Right.
But it was such a great... It was... I went all the time. You know what I mean? And people would be like, why do you go up there so much? I'm like, because this is going to end. This is going to end.
Right.
This isn't going to go on forever, and there's nothing going to ever be like this ever. And I'm his guest. And I want to go and enjoy it. So
did you ever go and nothing was happening? Like where there's just nothing going on there? Or was there always a little something?
Well, I wouldn't go up there if there's nothing happening.
Like half is just hanging
out. No, but I mean, would you
like...
just show up, or would you know that you were going? Oh, okay.
No. There'd be like, they'd have Sunday fun days, or they would have, like pool parties. They would do, what was the funniest was the Easter egg hunt. That was like a big thing for him. Like, because all the bunnies, they're like Easter. They love that. They put their dresses on. You know what I mean? He'd always have animals and kids and families.
It's just so funny. We do all this like little kid stuff. But then, once
the night before,
then there'd be.
But that's the same thing as the Comedy Store. It was no different. It's the same thing. It's like you got all this comedy, and then at houses people are fucking and doing drugs. It's
right.
Like, I mean, Robin Williams was wild.
Right.
He
yeah.
was wild. Like,
did you ever see Robin Under the Influence?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he was always, partying and having fun and, living that life,
But that's such a healthy attitude to have that early that you were like, this is going to end. This is not, because I think so many people in that position, especially when they're young, are going, this is reality. This is what life is like now.
No.
This is forever. And you're like, nope, this
is going to, But I'm happy, I'm okay, after this whole thing that I've been through, whatever it is, like, so I'm all good.
You've lived a life, man.
I've seen it.
And
you have lived a life.
Want more Jim and Sam? Catch up with full episodes and interviews from celebrity guests anytime on demand using the SiriusXM app.